Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came home.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the one, the only, Jerry Springer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you. And in fairness, aren't we lucky? I'm the only Jerry Springer.
So lucky.
I mean, that'd be pretty depressing if there was another one going around.
Hey, by the
you
way,
do wonder, what if someone has your name? Can you? I mean,
Some poor kid. There's got to be another
there's got to
Jerry
be
Springer.
someone named
bound
Jerry
to.
Springer.
That
And
poor
can you
kid.
imagine
Poor
how
sap.
tired they are? They call up for a reservation to a restaurant, and your name is Jerry Springer, and they say, "Who is this really?"
yeah. Hey, by the way, in
I
a
apologize.
few minutes, Jerry's gonna talk about religion and politics, and I'm looking forward to that. Also, we have Erin Coburn, who's is our musical performer, and some people supporting her. She is. Now, listen to this.
Yeah.
This is an interesting hook. She's 14 years old.
I
and
have
just
socks
heard,
your age.
I just heard the sound check, and she
Holy
is
cow,
real
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
She's
And this is
talented.
exciting. We always talk about this, Megan and Jerry, about how, Jerry, you and I are at the older end of this whole folk music thing, and we came through, as my friend Harold says, the folk scare of the 60s is how he puts it. I like that. And yet, here's a 14-year-old young woman who is singing roots music and writing songs, and so that's going to be a real treat. We're looking forward to that. Megan, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, what's up, Gene?
Hey, Megan.
Megan, can I ask you something?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
crap.
we have this thing on our website called "Who Would Like to Date Megan?"
Is that
and
still
it's
up?
blowing up. It's
blowing up.
blowing up.
What do you mean it's blowing up? Give me some numbers. What do you mean blowing up?
Both people have been.
Thousands and thousands. I
Why don't
am
you
like her
really?
crazy uncle. I'm the gatekeeper, so I don't let many of them through. But we have another guy that's going to come on, not tonight, but the next time we record. And he's from Brooklyn, New York. So it has
yeah?
quite a reach. I mean, we had somebody from Colorado. We had
Oh, well,
somebody
this
from,
is
I think,
The married
Arizona.
local guy that was awesome.
And a married
that was
guy
awesome.
came in with his wife.
his wife.
And
Yeah.
bottom line is they wanted a free meal.
Pretty much.
On Jerry Springer.
Yeah, it was
Because
great.
there's this
Yeah,
really cool
yeah.
restaurant we're going to
Yeah,
go
but
to.
the end of that story is they wound up on my show, which was
true.
perfect.
True. And now they're not together anymore. So it all
And
came
Greg's
out the way
back.
it's
It was
supposed to
all
come
a
out.
happy ending.
And when
For
this
me.
date happens,
Yes.
so we're vetting and we're getting finalists and we're going to select somebody.
And I feel really solid about all this.
Oh,
Just
of
want
course,
you to know.
because my first wife, Bonnie, and I are going to be the chaperones in that sort of Spanish, Italian thing where we walk behind and, Megan and her date will be out in
How-
front
this-
talking,
it's gotta sound appealing.
scheming.
You do
And-
not have much of a life.
No, oh, hell no, I don't.
I mean, really,
No
for
way.
you to say,
No,
gee,
no, I don't.
why don't we do this, honey?
Yeah,
why don't
we're going
we
to go
We're gonna
out
follow
with
Megan
another
around.
couple?
I wanted to check with you, Megan, because you take vacations about every other week. And the last
Yeah.
one, you went on some cruise to Belize and Cozumel. Those are cool places.
Yeah,
by
it was
the way.
great.
Yeah.
Really great.
But by the way, you didn't. What is the virus?
Oh,
What is the thing?
Zika. I didn't.
Zika.
They were crazy talking about it all.
Were they
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, because we
Oh,
were
yeah.
in the rainforest and stuff in Belize. So
Wow. So you were
yeah,
watching.
you know
all
what
the
you use
mosquitoes.
off bug spray. That's all you do.
Is that true? Simple as that.
Yep. The guy said just use your bug spray.
Just
You're
put
gonna
some
be
bug
fine.
spray
Yeah.
on, and
Yeah.
nothing's
Turns
going to
out.
bite you.
Right.
Oh, that makes you feel secure.
I was fine with it.
What?
Well, we think.
It's true.
Let me ask you something, Megan. So while you're on this cruise, and this is key to this bit we're doing of Who Would You Like to Date Megan, you didn't get married, correct?
I did not get married.
You did not get, shall we say, encumbered.
I did not.
You're not encumbered, are you? I'm trying to use
No.
clinical terminology here. Hey, Megan.
14-year in the audience. 14-year-old in the audience.
You spray DEET on your body. You guys are going to come around anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody was right. There
I'm
were
a
no
backpacker.
vacation
I
ships.
use DEET, and
Yeah,
it will
no
peel
vacation
the skin
ships.
off your bones. So you're still down with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. It's
And
all good.
So,
But don't you feel awkward?
Always.
yeah, no matter what.
Most of the time.
Yeah, this isn't the determiner of
that
that.
didn't start with you, Jer. Sorry.
Hey, Jerry.
Yes, Gene.
You're a celebrity. Yeah, your turn.
To get drilled.
You're a
Yes.
celebrity, aren't you?
Ish.
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you went to, man, I needed a wingman. You know, there was this birthday party, a mutual friend of ours down in Florida. So I go down there and I tell my wife, I say, man, this is going to be great because I'm working the Beck party. Because I'm going down to do some funny stuff, I hope, to do some jokes. And I figured
this very good friend of ours, a very close friend, has a major Super Bowl party every year.
Major.
And I'd say, there were 75, 100 people there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, beautiful home and a nice party. And this, let's be honest, this was the first year you were invited.
The first year I was invited, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was there 10 years ago. I was there 10 years
you wonder
ago.
why,
That didn't go well, by the
Then
way.
it was on a list for 10
it's been
years.
10 years since
I
they invited
figured
you
I was
back?
going to be your wingman while you did jokes, while you were the entertainment. I get down there, Megan, and I find out Springer's not going to be there until Sunday for the Super Bowl, but he wasn't going to be there on the night of the big gathering, the party for this birthday, and it's a significant birthday. And
So you
I'm
were
like,
left to your own devices.
oh, all these people are saying, well, isn't Jerry Springer coming to do some funny stuff, some jokes? And I'm like, I kept looking at the door, Jerry,
did not
looking.
ask
Come
about
on, Jerry, come on. You didn't show up. I had to work alone. It was a freaking disaster. And you were, I find out, shall we say, gallivanting around America, and you were down in, now let's pronounce it properly, New Orleans.
New Orleans.
You're down in New Orleans.
It was the Mardi Gras weekend.
And what did you do in New Orleans?
I was in the, I had been the...
Happy Fat Tuesday, by the way.
Well,
to
thank
you,
you so
Megan,
much.
as well.
Thank you, sir.
yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Shrove
yes.
Tuesday.
And it's
Yes.
politically incorrect,
I understand.
just say
a little of this,
heavy
little of that.
Tuesday.
Yeah, heavy
Yeah.
Tuesday, right? All right. Pre-diabetic
Yeah.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, my.
Yes.
I used that joke the other night. I got nothing for that.
Yes.
Tough
get nothing for
crowd,
that.
Tough
Yeah.
crowd.
So anyway, so there's the party, and so I'm in the Endymion parade. I was the Grand Marshal back in '98, and they invited me back this year. And there are a million people.
Unbelievable. Is this like on the French Quarter?
It's all over the city. A lot of neighborhoods have it, but the big parade on Saturday was the Endymion parade. It's huge. It's a 5-hour parade.
Wow.
And I show you some pictures. Obviously, we can't do it on a podcast. But anyway, it is 5 hours, and it is 20 people deep, at least, all along the way. There are a million people. That's what the newspapers told us, 1 million people. Wow. And screaming and yelling and wanting beads and but
I don't
now
get that. Why would people want
Why
these?
do want?
that's
what
where
is
we
that
got the
all about?
idea for our show. Oh, I got to tell you, you cannot get plastic like that at Tiffany's. The beads we give out were unbelievable. Anyway, and as you're going down the parade, it says on the side of the float that I'm Jerry Springer, whatever. So the people, they're all in a party mood, so they're going, Jerry, Jerry, just for like 5 seconds as I'm going by. But of course, they're just doing it for 5 seconds. I hear it for 5 hours.
You deserve that, though.
And the security guys who are with me, because, they hated me by the end. Can you
They were gonna
imagine?
hate you by the end
I mean, it really
anyway.
was 5 hours of non-stop. And you're just waving like an idiot.
Yeah, like
And you're
the
throwing those
Queen.
beads, and as you get towards the end, the people are drunk.
No.
And they're firing the beads back at you. And poor Todd got a welt on his head. Boom.
Sorry, Todd.
It was unbelievable. And then you go into the Superdome, and that's where the ball is, and people are dressed in the tuxedos and beautiful gowns. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But there are 40,000 people in the Superdome. It's where the Saints play. But anyway, they're there. And so it's huge. It is just... And it is so decadent. But that's where I got the idea of my show. Because I went to Tulane undergrad.
Yeah.
And it suddenly dawned on me now. Because, when you're down there as a college student, every year you go to the Mardi Gras parade. And that's where you see every kind of...
Everything.
Everything.
You got your values early.
I got my values early. And probably at some level... It sunk in my head.
Just
Wouldn't this make a great
I'm
television
You
show one day?
subconsciously became Jerry
Because
Springer.
our show is Mardi Gras every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the beads, it's the chanting, it's the sliding down the poles.
All of that.
Oh, yeah, the dancing on the poles was unbelievable. In fact, I even saw one woman dancing on the Czechoslovakian.
Here we go.
I was waiting for it.
Now, see, I was so hoping.
See, not just the pole, but
I was so hoping that
there is no Czechoslovakian.
No, there
the joke
isn't.
doesn't even make sense anymore.
No,
You'd have to say dancing on a Czech Republican.
on the Czech Republic.
And
But
nobody
who
dance
can?
on Republicans.
No, who wants to dance on a Republican?
I was so hoping we could do a podcast without some lame jokes because we're getting kind of known for just really lame jokes that are just
Is that what
driven
we're
into
known
the ground. Yeah, right.
There, you know what? There could be worse things to be known for.
Yeah,
in this trio,
that's a
so.
step up for me.
And I know that you
In my
and
obituary, I want that. If that could be the first line,
right.
Purveyor
you
of
know,
bad
don't
jokes.
mention Kentucky.
Yeah.
Just mention he told lame jokes. I'll buy. Where do I sign on for that obituary?
And now that we're streaming live, and
Yes.
because we have a 14-year-old young woman
Yes.
performing
Yes.
tonight, I want to make sure, and you didn't know that was going to be the case, and so I know that both you and Megan came in, submitted to me some jokes you wanted to do, and no, we are not going to do them. But the jokes that I'm going to give you the punchlines of the jokes that they
this
wanted to
is
do.
so
One was
sick.
from Megan, one was from Jerry. One punchline is, "You're mistaken. That's not my wiener. That's hers." That was a punchline of one of the jokes. We're not doing that joke.
No, as long as
can't
we
do
don't
that
do
joke.
it.
That
No,
was
you don't do
Jerry's.
that joke.
And
And
then
why would you have a
Jerry's-
joke about hot dogs?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then Jerry's punchline is, "Oh God." I mean, it conjures up
She's
like, what's
14.
the setup? The punchline is of this joke, "Now wash your hands and make me a cheese sandwich." That's the second joke. That we are not doing either one of those jokes. I apologize for that.
This is just entertainment gold here tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Entertainment go.
Oh, shame on both of you. Hey, by the way, Sarah Palin.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk for a minute about Sarah Palin.
How is she doing?
She approached our podcast going back maybe 4 months. She lost her gig at Fox News doing political analysis, asked us if she could do work on our show. She wanted to do political analysis. We said no.
Yeah.
And we didn't put it to her this way, but basically what we conveyed was, you suck at political analysis. That's why you got fired. So you can work for us. We'll pay you some walking around money, but it's going to be cultural critiquing,
Pop
right,
culture.
Megan?
Yeah, she's our pop
good.
culture
Pop
now.
culture
And she
kind
agreed
of
to do
analyst.
that, did she?
She agreed to do it.
Wonderful.
Now,
Oh, good.
No, she's not going to go in, because I said, look, can you go into the a TV studio or a radio station in Wasilla? We get a real clean feed. No, I'm going to do it from my home on my cell phone. And so she drops these onto the podcast telephone recorder late at night. And David, I think David's going to play the latest one.
Thanks, Jerry, and hello, America. Well, it looks like the rock and roll generation, those guys that live life in the fast lane and have fun going through crosstown traffic in their hot rod Lincolns. It looks like their pink Cadillacs are finally heading for the compactor. If life is a highway, baby boomer rockers are all taking the next exit ramp. That guy, David Bowie, and that dude Glenn Frey, and some guy named Lenny, and the drummer for the, that must be a typo from Apple or something. They're all taking that next rock and roll train to the roundhouse. Now, I hope all you baby boomers aren't surprised by this. What do you think you're going to get when you're making all that heathen music and doing all those drugs and having all those babies that, okay, maybe scratch the last one. But you know what I mean. You keep speeding through life like that, and the Lord's going to pull you over. Now, you might say that old Major Tom, that Eagles guy, all died from diseases that had nothing to do with the sex and the drugs. But that contradicts everything I just said. Of course, I don't care. And shut up about Keith Richards already. Well, it's time for me to get my motor running and head out on the highway. This has been another Sarah Palin Minute from the gal who's on your side, the right side. See ya.
Sarah Palin.
Sarah
Very
Palin.
nice.
I mean, I just think it's impressive that
She's got no life.
we were
Talk
able
about.
to, yeah, and
So
she's
we call them Sarah Palin Minutes?
minutes, yes.
God
and
love her. God
as she
love her.
said to us when she took the gig, Bristol's baby's not going to pay for itself.
That's
so
true.
She's
She's
got
gotta
to
do
this.
something.
Hey, Jerry, I wanted to ask you something.
Yes, what did you want to
well,
ask me?
about religion and politics. I know you developed a kind of a theory about this, and
Well,
it might be germane because we're in that season.
Yeah, well, it just came to mind. The other day I was reading an article about one of Ted Cruz's speeches when he was campaigning in. Actually, it was still campaigning in Iowa, and the Christian right is a very significant force in the Republican primaries there, and so he said, and it wasn't like a big headline. It was just part of the speech. He says, I am first a Christian, then an American, then a conservative, and then a Republican. And, people kind of understood that. And then I jumped back. He said, because he's a Christian first, then an American, then a conservative, and then a Republican. And you could almost see all the heads nodding. And then I kind of remembered back, you'd have to be at least my age to remember it, but it's September of 1960. John Kennedy is running for president of the United States. He is the Democratic candidate. And we had never had a Catholic president before. And it sounds silly today, but back then it was a huge issue. And the biggest argument against him at the time was, he's Catholic. He can't be president. And they kept polling, and he couldn't get over that hurdle. So now, remember, the election is, the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November. The election in 1960 was November 8th. This is the middle of September, and he's got to deal with this issue now. So he decides, and there was a lot of discussion whether he should do it because it would bring even more attention. But he went down to Houston, Texas, and addressed the Council of Protestant Ministers in Houston. They were having a national convention, and there were like 1,000 Protestant ministers of different denominations, Baptists, Methodists, whatever. And he went there, and boy, this was huge news back then. And he was going to address the issue of himself being Catholic. And it's hard to imagine today that would be an issue. But number one, to be Catholic and think you can be elected president, but two, to even talk about it, to address it. And, the political advisors were saying, leave it alone. But if you raise it and you say something that just doesn't come out right, oh my gosh. And the issue, and then he took questions. And one question after another, the implication was that they didn't trust John Kennedy because as a Catholic, they were worried that he would take direction from the Vatican, from the Pope, rather than from our Constitution. And John Kennedy said, if I run for president, I am an American first. And that, I may go to church on Sundays and I will have my religion, but I take an oath of office that I will support the Constitution of the United States. I am an American first. And that was huge. And as you know, the end of the story, John Kennedy won by, at that time, the smallest margin ever that a president was elected, just about 110,000 votes out of 60 million. Okay, now jump 56 years later, and a candidate says, I'm a Christian first, and an American second. And you wonder, and no one blinks. And I'm not suggesting, someone should blink, but it's as if you are the majority religion, that's fine. But I could see cases where if you want to run for president, if you think that you can't ever go against what you believe church teachings are, then you shouldn't run for president. In other words, if your religion really is the single most, and I'm not talking down to people with religion at all. I'm saying if that is the single most important thing in your life, and you think that you would ever have to compromise your religious beliefs in carrying out your constitutional responsibilities as president, then you don't run. You choose another job. We had that same discussion when the clerk of courts in Kentucky,
Yep,
Kim
Kim
Davis, when, no one told her she had to be the clerk of courts, but if she was going to be the clerk of courts, then it was her responsibility to sign the marriage licenses of gay people. Anyway, so here's Cruz, and, someone in the media should have challenged him when he said that, will you disobey the Constitution in order to fulfill your religious beliefs? Well, of course, he would have stuttered all over the place. He has enough problems trying to convince people that he's a native-born American. Now he has to say that he would really support the Constitution, even if it's against his religion. I don't know that he would have fudged the question and not answered. But the media leaves people alone on that issue today. And one of the problems is that it isn't clear, all of a sudden you get the feeling that everybody puts their own interpretation on their religion. When you run for political office, it's almost as if you have to say you have some religion. Even Bernie Sanders, who doesn't practice Judaism, has to talk about how he believes in a God, and and he sees God manifested in caring about poor people and things like that. Hillary Clinton the other day at a town meeting had to talk about how the first thing that happens in the morning is she reads a passage from the Bible, etc. It's almost as if we've now put a litmus test on people running for president. I wonder if anyone could ever run for president by saying, they're an atheist. Would they be immediately disqualified? But every politician does that. And yet, I got to think they're kind of being dishonest, because they are all willing to interpret their religion so that it meets their political philosophy. I mean, that's what we do as Americans. It's almost like we go to the grocery store and we just pick out the parts of a religion that we're comfortable with. And that's because you have, let's just take Catholicism. You have Nancy Pelosi, minority leader in the House, a devoted Catholic, church every Sunday morning, the whole bit, very Catholic, and she's obviously pro-choice. And then you have the Speaker of the House, Ryan, and he is, anti-abortion and all that. So, in other words, the same religion, and they each interpret it according to their own political views. So I just think there's a lot of hypocrisy that's going on here. What I would say as a liberal is, how can you be a Christian and then be against, food stamps? How can you be a Christian and against health care for all Americans? Would any moral ethic tell you that we shouldn't be helping the poor? Isn't that what Jesus said? Same thing in Judaism. I mean, it's like we just pay lip service to this because we think that's a great way to get votes, but it's almost as if there's such insincerity, because I don't know how that matches up. If America's becoming more secular, I think that may be the reason, because after a while, we give all the talk about how religious we are and how these are our values, and yet come Monday morning, whatever you said in church on Sunday is out the window. And I'm not just talking about politicians. I'm talking about people in the business world. Whatever your career is, what you say in temple or in church or whatever, and we're all like that, and then come Monday morning, you're back in the, quote, real world, and you make all these things which, if you're sitting in a room with God, you wouldn't say, that's really the nice way to act. I guess I don't know, and maybe someone can educate me, how you can be religious and right-wing conservative. I guess that's what I would say. I'm not just picking on fundamentalist Christians. I would say even Orthodox Jews or whatever. How can you be religious and be okay that there are some people that need help and you're not willing to help? and you're not willing to have a society that says that's the priority. I don't think that's a political debate. I think that's something we all have to deal with our own conscience, because all of a sudden it's hard to take you seriously when you say, that's my religious belief. I'm a real Christian. And then you're perfectly okay. Or you say, let's go to Ted Cruz, and I'll be political. How can you say you're a Christian and then say you're going to turn in the Middle East, make the sand glow, you're going to carpet bomb? I mean, find me one minister that can say that's okay, that you carpet bomb, which means you're going to kill all the human beings there. It's not even talking about a death penalty for someone who commits a bad crime. You're just talking about innocent people. 95% who didn't do anything wrong. You're going to carpet bomb them, kill them all, and then you say you're a Christian. What am I missing?
All right, Rabbi Jerry Springer.
Or how can you say you're a Jew? It's true.
No, that's a good analysis. I want to bring up Erin Coburn and the people who are accompanying her. And as they're coming in and getting set up, let me tell you some things about her. As I mentioned earlier, she's 14 years old. And we just think this is really exciting that we're not only finding, with the help of Casey Campbell, our music coordinator, people from some from the greater Cincinnati area, which is a tri-state area, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, but also people from across the country we've had performing on our podcast. So let me turn our attention to Erin Coburn. And Erin, welcome to the Jerry Springer podcast, Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery. And would you start us off with a song?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Let the Worries Fly. Oh, release me now. Don't want me to break out. Oh, release me now. Don't make me shout. Oh, don't put me under pressure. My mind must be freed. Oh, don't put me under pressure. Release me. Let the worries fly. Yeah. Oh, let the worries fly now and fly away. Let the worries fly and fly and fly. Oh, let the worries fly now and fly away and fly away. Oh, we all have those moments in time and space, and you know it. Just look at your face. Oh, can't you see when to let go? Oh, can't you tell that to say no? Oh, can't you see when to let go? Oh, can't you tell that to say no? You ought to know the time of day, of when to go and when to say hey. You ought to know the time of day, of when to go and when to say hey, and when to stay away. And when to stay away. Let the worries fly, yeah. Oh, let the worries fly now and fly away. Let the worries fly and fly. Oh, let the worries fly now and fly away. And fly away. take a couple of breaks. Take a few breaks now. Take a lot of breaks now. Let the words fly, yeah. Oh, let the words fly now. Let them fly away. Let the words fly, and the fly. Oh, let the words fly now, and the fly away. Let the words fly. Oh, let the words fly now, and the fly away. Let the words fly, and the fly. Oh, let the words fly now, and the fly away.
Wow.
That's Aaron Coburn, and by the way, on guitar we have Brandon Powell, and playing the bass Dixon Creasy, and you're amazing. By the way, she has an album out called, I love this, and this is the old English teacher and me talking from way back. The name of her album is Chaos Before Conformity. That is really a great title.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Yes.
I get it. You know?
Yeah, it's my life.
Man, chaos now. I'll
Yeah.
deal with that other stuff later.
Yeah.
So, from Ryle High School, is that correct?
Yes.
In the Northern Kentucky
Right down the
area?
street from where I grew up.
Right, yeah, close
Did
to
you
where
go to
Megan
high
grew up.
school?
No,
Oh, you didn't go to
I went
high
to the
school.
Catholic school.
Yes.
It worked out well.
Aaron, it's amazing. I've been hearing about you that you're this up-and-coming young songwriter and singer. Where did you come from? How did this come about? What's your background? What got you into this?
Well, kind of all started with my dad's guitar when I was like, I don't know how old. I was like 3, and I played it like an upright bass. But overall, kind of steamrolled, and then I just started writing songs out of the blue because, you know, inspiration. When you get into high school, a lot of things happen. But, you know, but I just kind of started writing and then put it to my guitar and album.
And
Music.
it's interesting. You have two people with you. One,
They're
the
not
guitar player-
classmates.
No.
Well,
How did you find your accompanist, by the way? Because one's at the older end, one's young, older than you, but youngish, as I would say. Megan, I just call Megan youngish. You know.
Thanks, Gene.
But how did you put your group together?
well, I go to the same school as Brandon, and
All
his
right.
sister told me about him, that he played guitar, and I was like, okay, cool. So I tried him out, and he
Really
works.
good,
He fits.
Good jazz guitarist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really
Very
good,
good.
guitarist. Yeah. And
then-
Dixon, I met at a blues festival. I do believe it was 2 years ago. Yes, at the Winter
Wow.
Blues Fest, and I was like, he's a good bass player. So we started playing out, and now he's my bass player.
Where are you headed? What's going? Where the future have for you? Is this what you want to do, or
Yes,
this is what you
definitely.
want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to
That's
college
awesome.
for this. This would be
Yeah.
cool.
Very, very cool.
Wow. Well, it's really.
voice
Isn't it
is
good?
so
What do you guys
unique.
think? This is good.
Yeah.
She's really good. Do a second song for us, would you?
All right, Fall in Love. About you, about it, every single day. You just need to say, hey, and I fall for love, and I fall for you. So you can kick up your shoes, but I'm going after you. And I said, hey, 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 hey. I said, hey, 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 and I said, hey, 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 hey. I follow for love and I fall for you. My feet of the line, my feet of the line. Once you cross the line, once you cross the line, so no returning. You can't go back now, oh. So you can kick up your shoes, but I'm up on blues. And I said, hey, 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 and I said, hey, 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 hey. I follow for love and I fall for you. All right, Brent. about you, about it every single day. You just need to say, hey, hey, hey. And if I fall for love, then I fall for you. So you can kick up your shoes, but I'm hoping after you. And I said, hey, 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 hey. And I said, hey, 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 hey. I follow for love and I follow for love and I follow for love and I fall for you.
Well, that's Aaron Coburn, and people have to get this album, Chaos Before Conformity. It just cracked the top 100 of the American radio chart.
Oh,
And
you're going to be heard from.
Yeah,
I mean,
she is
yeah,
gonna
that's
make
incredible.
it. She's making
And your poise is,
it's
I mean, that
incredible.
is, I mean, yeah, the talent is incredible, but your poise, I mean, 14 years old, that's absurd. And you, sir, you're what, 23?
a multiple of 0.5.
Yeah, you can't see this on a podcast, but picture Santa Claus.
Well, we call him Angry Santa Claus. Sometimes
Yeah.
when he's angry, he turns red, but he's not angry, actually.
And you really can play that guitar.
Yeah,
Good
you
for
can.
you.
Yeah, you guys are good.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
mix. And-
great job.
And you're on a radio tour, is that correct?
Yes, over
through
the summer and
2016?
spring. Yep.
And also you have an endorsement for what? Riptide ukuleles?
Ukuleles, yep.
So you play the ukulele too, I take it
Yes,
then?
I do. Not traditional ukulele. I play it like Jimi Hendrix almost, maybe.
Nice.
Wow.
What
That's what I've been told.
What are you going to major in college? Music or?
Music and
Yeah.
then minor in business.
Really? And what colleges appeal to you to carry forward your career?
Berkeley and
Berkeley.
OSU too, maybe. I don't know.
And what's the other one?
Ohio State University.
Ohio State?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad
Oh,
went there,
Berkeley.
but you know.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
college for business.
Oh, yeah.
Could you guys take us out on Irene Goodnight?
Yeah.
And would you let Jerry Springer sing with you on that?
You can
be
sing.
I used to be 14. I remember, well, actually, I remember the day Lincoln had just been shot, and and we just,
As in a lame joke.
Lame.
classes were canceled. I remember, it was horrible.
All right. Well, I made up my own verse for the first one, so just.
Oh, go ahead,
just
yeah.
Warning you. All right.
Yeah. Well, I made up my own notes, so there you go. Yeah, this ought to work perfectly.
All right. This should work. High school is such a place. It's hard not to stare. But when the kids cause drama, I just wanna pull out my hair.
You've been listening to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, recorded live at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky. Thanks to Patrick Kennedy for writing our opening song, and to you for listening. Check out our website at jerryspringer.com.
All right, Jerry.
Oh, once I went to high school. I was nothing but a fool. And then I looked at this girl, and, well, nothing happened that day.
Irene, good night. Irene.